last one, world of workflows. Obviously, this is a really big one. So this is a very high level view of how we are focusing this research. We've been working in AI and jobs since 2015, since doing major research and primary research and primary analysis into how AI affects work. This is fundamentally a different animal. And it's fascinating to see at the end of 2023 what we found out. And we did find out some things about work and about generative AI. We found out that it tends to enhance the, a little bit of expertise can be strongly enhanced with generative AI. But a little bit of expertise and a lot of overconfidence and a little bit of training leads to a lot of overconfidence, which leads to a lot of errors. So there's a complex story unfolding with world of workflows, and we wanted to take a step back and look at it in a slightly sort of higher level perspective so that we can get a more robust long-term framework around it. And the way we're thinking about it is very much linked to to productivity gains, and we're not just talking about sort of incremental productivity gains. We're talking about really significant transformational productivity gains that come from innovation and creativity and discovery, and also incremental, but very much looking for that sort of novelty, that disruption around productivity. And at its core, what these tools do is either compete or complement our cognition. And we make choices over whether we want these tools to compete or complement how we think and deal with cognitive tasks in learning, but in work. And so we've separated generative AI into two dimensions, just a really simple model for us to start sort of building a robust view of the way that generative AI affects us at work. And so across skill requirements, so the type of tasks, the type of skills required to do tasks, either high or low, and the level of proficiency that an individual actually has. So if the task skill requirement is high and the worker proficiency is high and they're using generative AI, they're using it as an amplifier. And so, I write a lot. I'm a skilled writer, and my proficiency is high. My task skill, writing is hard. Writing an original piece that gives knowledge to people is a hard process. It requires a lot of skill. So when I use generative AI for that process, I'm using it as an amplifier. I'm being very back and forth, very much in a partnership. I'm trying to push it to the limits of what it can help me make my writing and thought process better. But for example, when the task is lower, I'm writing a social media post and I just need a little bit of that pop. That's just straight out time saver, right? Even though the proficiency to do that writing, my proficiency is still good, I want to just do that faster and save time. If the task is high, but my proficiency is low, this is me sort of teaching myself how to be a better coder. I'm using these tools as a bootstrapper. And I sort of don't really know what I'm doing until I get there, but it's definitely a bootstrapping. And my risk of error is pretty high there. And if I had someone supervising me, I'm pushing more errors up to them. So the amplifying time on my supervisor, if you like, or my coach, my teacher, my tutor, my boss, is they have to really kind of step in and fix things when my bootstrapping doesn't work so well. And when the task skill is low and the proficiency is low, real basic sort of stuff, replying to an uninteresting email, it's a prosthetic. I'm just sort of using it as a prosthetic for my thinking. Now, where this clinches into the world of workflows and the world of productivity is we really need to understand the choices that society, organizations, and individuals are making about these things. Because our choices are all actually going to be quite different. Our choices as individuals as to whether to use a GPS app is different. People make different choices about how they want to keep their spatial reasoning and their navigation skills versus what Uber thinks the driver should be able to do. So these choices are all going to be much more complicated than just looking at a number from a research paper. We actually have to understand the human response to it. So we're looking at three really, we're looking in detail at three really key things, which is how will the people, the work processes, and the design of these systems respond to these generative AI workflows. We're so early. There are no strong conclusions to make because, and I tell you why, one of the real reasons we can't make a lot of conclusions yet is that we just haven't seen enough in the wild where people feel free to say to people, I use generative AI for this. Vast majority of people are not doing that. They're presenting generative AI as their own work. So it is very, very difficult to get real in the wild data on this. And the studies are still early. They're still limited. There's a handful that have given us good data, but this is still so early. So this is a major piece of research ongoing for us, in addition to the last decade that we've done. So watch World of Workflows.